Everybody good to go? All right, well, good to be back practicing and getting ready for another game on Saturday. It's what we needed. Just recapping after having a chance to look at Saturday's game back, it kind of was exactly what we felt, what it felt like. It was a game where our guys did a lot of things really well. We ran the ball well. We won the run game. We won the turnover battle. We won the battle of field position. Explosives were pretty even. We did a lot of the things that we needed to do to win the football game. And I think that's why we found ourselves up 38-24 with 8 minutes and 24 seconds to go. We did a lot of things that would say we deserved to win, but we didn't earn the win. And, I think it was a 98% chance to win at one point, whether it was at 8:24 or 5 or 6 minutes. And, it was a great opportunity in a disappointing situation for us to teach and learn as a young team, a young team playing a team with a lot of veterans. When you go up 14 with 8:24 to go, we've been really good at finishing here, and we didn't finish. And if it says 98%, the reality of it is the hardest thing to do in sports is close out. And those last 2% is the hardest 2 of the 100. And I think there's some lessons to be learned, some painful growing pains that we got to go through. Make no mistake, we don't accept it and want to tolerate it. We're not okay with it. We're pissed off about it because, the guys put in so much work throughout the year, throughout the week, and for 3.5 quarters to put themselves in a great position to win against a good football team. In my opinion, a top 25 caliber football team. Like I said, I think we deserved to win, but we didn't earn the win. It's very similar. You think about the Duke game last year. We probably didn't deserve to win, and we did. We're not giving it back. They aren't either. And I think there's a lot of positives, but when you lose, nobody thinks about that. You look at the Baltimore Ravens, 40-25, and they look like, to me, the favorite to win the Super Bowl, and they didn't win the game. So it's going to be how we handle this. Do we use this? Do we let it be a catalyst for us as a team, as individuals? It's hurtful. We're moving on. We got a tough week to go on the road for the first time against Missouri State. We need to go play well. We need to play ticked off. We need to get a win and heal up that wound of last week, get a scar that will remind us in the future when in those situations, hopefully we'll respond better. Missouri State, Ryan Beard going up there, they're going to have probably 17,000, 20,000 packed. It's their first home game as a Power 5 FBS school. They got a big win last week. They won 8 games last year. He does it right. There's a lot of ties. So it's really good for us to go on the road and try to put our regular season road winning streak to the test and see if we can respond. And that's all sports are. Everybody gets knocked back down. It's how we respond to determine this team, and I thought they responded decent today.
Besides the not finishing piece, are you pleased with the growth you saw from week 1 to week 2, and what do you feel like you need to see in this week's game to feel ready for TCU?
I really am pleased with the growth. I think you saw a much improved team in week 2 from week 1, particularly offensively. I thought we executed much better. We were balanced. We threw for almost 300 yards. We ran the ball, especially in the second half when we needed to. The penalties were way down. I think we had 5 penalties. I think we've had 5 penalties in the last 6 quarters. The one that can't happen, and it's being addressed internally because it's not, Romello Brinson's a phenomenal young man. I mean, he's a great father. There's not a bad bone in his body. He's a great kid, but that's back-to-back weeks with unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. I love the way he's playing, and he's playing with a lot of passion, but we can't hurt the team, and so we're handling that internally because that's not who we are, and it's not who he is. But overall, we had good ball security. We had the one poor play with Matt and Kev in the red zone that hurt us. But overall, for the course of a game, we were much improved. I think defensively, for 3.5 quarters, we stopped the run like we needed to. But there was 2 drives that we really needed to, and we didn't. Special teams, outside of kicking, we won the battle of field position by 9 yards. We got a turnover. We limited their return from being explosive. So when you look from week 1 to week 2, man, we made the jump. And I think that's probably what makes the loss so difficult is we made the jump. We played well enough to win against a really good opponent. And we just embodied the old saying, we snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. And so, but again, if we use it, we can't go back and change the result of the game. But we also can take from the fact that we had a really good football team down 2 scores with 8 minutes to go. I think it shows our potential is what we think it is. We just got to get there quick. And, so we did make that improvement, but we got to finish when we're in those situations.
looking back at the game on Saturday, looking at the linebackers who were without Kilgore and Sakai for a lot of the game, what did you see from them?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at us, we lost the 2 starters from last year and probably the 2 starters from this year for the majority. I thought Brandon Miazano, I thought Brandon Booker and Justin Medlock played really well. Like I said, we stopped the run well majority of the night. There were some moments, particularly in the red area, on one drive before half, and then obviously that last drive that we needed to do better. But by and large, we did a good job of that. So I thought those guys stepped up, just like I thought on offense. Jalen Cooper and some others stepped up without Jordan Hudson. And so that's going to have to continue to be the deal. And like I said, that's why we got young guys who are going to keep playing. You've got to grow through their development, which means there's some growing pains, but there was a lot of good.
Coach, a lot of times a game like Saturday can affect a team's focus. How do you make sure that they stay on task and focused going into this game?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the game is mental, and we walked through. When you look at the scoreboard and there's 8:24 left, you're up 14, the mind can wander, right? And so we have to have that desperation, that ability to strain and focus to finish. And I think we did for the fourth quarter started tied, and like that, we're up 2 scores. So we started to finish very well. But what you got to understand is your opponent is in a desperate mode then. Like, they are desperate, right? This is do or die for them, not literally, but in the game sense. And so we have to run out on the field defensively with more urgency and more desperation to stop them than they have to score. We have to run on the field offensively with more desperation to maintain the ball than they have to get it back. And so that's the mental lesson from the game. Then the psyche post-game is, how do we respond? How do we handle it? Because it can bring you closer together and unite you. It's not like we played bad football and got beat. We played good football. So how do we move on? We got everything still in front of us on the season. And if we will keep getting better like we did from week 1 to week 2, we can still have a really good football team. And we can use this, and it can make us better.
What were you seeing from TJ Harden in the first half that made you want to stick with him going into the second half, and
Yeah.
I'm excited about him?
Yeah, I am. I think there was a couple things. One, we felt going into the game, the way their scheme was, we needed to run right at them more than side to side, which obviously fits TJ's strength, although he showed his explosiveness on the long run. And, we kind of went into the game with TJ and Chris. And, TJ we felt like in the first half was seeing it better. He was hitting the holes better than Chris. And so we kind of just decided shortly into the third quarter to just kind of ride with him. And I thought he got better and better. And like I've always said, it's hard. We got a lot of talented backs. When one running back can get 15 plus carries, they can get in a rhythm. And, we really asserted our physicality in the second half. And I think that was a big part of why we got that lead. So TJ's been really good. He's great in pass protection. He's good downhill. He showed he does have explosiveness. We need Chris or Derek to come on and give us that explosive element. And it was good to see Chunky D'Amico Green get some action. We will continue to bring him along because we think he can help us as well.
Do you have an injury update on the linebackers?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, there's a chance Kilgore will be available. I think if I was listening, I'd probably say questionable. He's further along than probably Jordan. Jordan, I wouldn't say no yet, but I think it's a long shot for him to play. Who else? We did lose. I think Kill Washington is still out, unfortunately, for a little bit longer. So that's the 3 starters. We'd love to get back sooner than later. 2 young guys that got banged up. Isaiah Robertson has a back injury that I think is going to probably sit him for a while. Unfortunately, he was playing on a lot of special teams and was ready to start playing a lot more at wideout. And then Tyron Polley hurt his thumb. We're kind of waiting to hear if it's surgical, which could be like about 6 weeks, or if it's something you can cast and play with. So we may have lost 2 guys who are really 2 talented freshmen that are playing a lot of teams. And then, but we should get Chambly back this week. Did I miss anybody? Zakai, he's probably further along than Kilgore. His is a situation where I hope we can get something out of him Saturday, but it's probably day to day. But he was out there in pads and everything today at practice. Who else? Anybody? Kevin, he kind of banged his ankle late. X-rays, everything was negative. He's a little limited today, but all signs point to it's nothing serious, and we expect him to be ready to go Saturday. With as far as the kicking situation, we're going to, today we did, and tomorrow Colin and Sam will kick, and they're competing to see who starts on Saturday. You know, it has nothing to do with just the last game. I mean, look, a 57-yard field goal is hard. He's capable, but the, you know, the other 51-yarder and the overtime, and you just look at the history over the last couple of years, a lot of good, but a lot of inconsistency. And you go to fall camp, it was a battle. And so, you know, we decided to go with Colin to start the season just because of the experience. But we're going to be true to what we do. We love both guys. We love everybody in this program, but competition is what we do. And, you know, any of us are replaceable, including me. So they kick today. They'll kick tomorrow, and we'll make a decision Thursday on how we'll handle this Saturday. And, you know, it may be week to week for a while going forward. We got a lot of confidence in Sam, and obviously for the last 3 years we've shown we have a lot of confidence in Colin. But whoever's the most consistent and kicking with the most confidence is who will kick.
The offense had a good game against Baylor, but when you looked at who was catching the passes, it looked like Matthew Hibner and RJ Maryland and Ymir Knight a little bit. Maybe people would have thought they would have gotten the ball more. Is that something you're trying to get them the ball more, or is it just whoever's open on certain plays?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both. I mean, we threw for about 300 yards against a team who gave up 100 the week before. Some of it's scheme. You know, they're playing with two high safeties a lot of the time. I thought obviously Mello and Jalen Cooper made plays. You know, Hibner had 2 big catches for us. RJ is still, I mean, we're just going to keep coming. I mean, he's healthy, but, you know, he's probably, 85% in terms of just his burst. I think in the next few weeks he'll have it all back. Ymir Knight is a guy we need to get going. I mean, Ymir's talented. We want to get him the football. We need to get him the football. You see when you go on punt returns, he practices hard. So I think he's a really good player. So, yeah, we need those guys internally by meaning the inside of the offense we got to get them the ball in good spots. But we're also, you know, we're not going to force the ball where it doesn't need to go based on the scheme we're playing. But to your point, you know, yeah, we'd like to get, particularly Ymir, more opportunities.
Anything else? Okay.
Awesome.